And Steve, we are live again, I believe, here on the InterSim Network, Esports Network. And sorry, mate, we had a bit of a technical glitch there with the internet and stuff happening, which hasn't really happened, but it does happen, and we're here and we're still going.
It went off on a caution, and you've come back about 20 laps later, and we're on a caution. We've just had an issue on, I believe, the back straight. And there's a few cars looking a little bit worse for wear. But Andy Barber, Justin Witch and Nigel Payton, Daniel Aguilera-Bates, our pole sitter, they're the guys sitting at the front at the moment. But 2 or 3 cars just involved in an incident at the back. I just didn't get a chance to catch who it was.
Yeah, well, we'll let them go under caution for a little while as we keep trying to get those technical gremlins sorted in the background here, so we have a little bit of images so we can see what we're looking at. Steve, I know you are on iRacing. Paul is on iRacing. I watch through other things to be able to commentate. So I have no images at the moment, but we have it coming up now. We've got the live timing coming up, and we will be coming up with the images. There we go, Steve. We're back online here on the InterSim Esports Network here on a Friday night, mate. We got there in the end. Thank you for your patience.
Not a problem at all. I've been keeping an eye on things here while you sorted out those technical issues. It is a disruption, and huge apologies to the viewers and those watching this first round of the Full Throttle Friday night NextGen series or championship, whatever you want to call it. This is series 1, round 1, and we are at Daytona for the first of 2 races here. Actually, we start and finish the series here, although the second race here will be a night race, Aidan, so that just changes things around. The series is actually all about different times of the day, different types of tracks. There's only 2 2-milers. The rest of them are all 2.5s. We've got Pocono in there. We've got Indy in there. And they may be 2.5-mile tracks, but they're not easy ones. They are technical tracks that you need to get right. Pocono's got 3 completely different corners, copied off 3 completely different other NASCAR tracks. So we've got that sort of stuff happening throughout the series, and all of these guys are excited at the opportunity of having these morning races, midday races, sunset races, night races, long tracks, fast cars.
Yeah, most definitely. But as we always do, I brought another one up into the broadcast booth, which has been doing a great job tonight. Justin Witcher, you got a copy, mate?
Yeah, boys, how we going?
Yeah, good, mate. Working really well there with Nige at the moment. You were trying to drag Greg up into your little group there at the front. I saw you checked up the high line a little bit, trying to get him in there. That's what we saw anyway from the broadcast booth. But, mate, you and Nigel, clean set of heels at the front so far. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, good. Hopefully we can keep it the way it is, if not reversed.
What's your plan moving on in the last 16 laps, mate? These cars definitely, once you sort of I saw you and Nigel got a really good gap in that last stint, and then as soon as the guys worked together behind you, were really caught up really quickly. So any insights for the viewers? What's your plan moving on to the back end of the race with 16 to go?
I think we're going to have to wing it. It's when you get a good train, you sort of a sitting duck, but the tow isn't that great once you're all together. So if you can keep that inside line, you're pretty well right. It's just going to be, I think it might be a hard block and it might spill everyone, but we'll see what happens.
And with the start going off the leader here, I correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably going to call the start on Nige and probably go early and try get him to drop down behind you?
We're not in the same chat tonight, so we've somehow split up, so I can't really talk to him, actually. So we've done the whole race without actually talking to each other.
Oh, wow, that's something a little bit different. So, Nigel's actually not even up in here tonight, so very interesting. So we'll see how you guys do it into the end of the race, mate, but you're doing a great job so far. Hopefully we're talking to you on the podium at the end.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for that.
No worries, mate. Best of luck.
Yeah, the team boys must be quite in sync then if there's no comms between them.
Yeah, and I just moved Justin to the wrong race channel, so I have to move him back down to the right one. So he's in there with Greg Spencer, I know. Matt Payton's in there as well, but Matt's not actually running tonight. So he must be up there giving them a little bit of advice. Sure, he's jumped in there as well. So, yeah, here we go. We've finally got it back on track. We're 85 laps into 100 here on the InterSim Esports Network for round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League NextGen Cup Series right here at Daytona International Speedway, Paul, as Justin Witcher brings them to the green flag. Nigel Payton on the outside. The flyer, Andy Barber on the inside of the second row. Daniel Aguilera-Bates, who's had a great drive tonight on the outside of the second row. We come to the green. Who's going to go? It is Justin Witcher has gone now in the 21, and he takes us to the green flag with 14 laps to go here at Daytona. Nigel Payton on the outside. Daniel Aguilera-Bates really trying to push around the outside. As we just heard, Nigel Payton and Justin Witcher are teammates, but they do not have any comms. But Nigel's going to drop down straight away. They know what they're doing, and they're going to want to move together. Daniel Aguilera-Bates on the outside. Andy Barber wanting to push up as well. I sound like I'm calling a racehorse. Oh, as we have a big accident. I sounded like I was a racehorse caller then, but that's me getting excited with 14 to go. There was a big accident there. Very unfortunate there for Greg Spencer. And was that Weston in the 18? No. That was Demetrius Agathos. Very unfortunate incident there. So we'll go back and have a look. So that's already happened in front of Greg. Greg's got nowhere to go. He's going to go straight into Demetrios. Maybe go back into Demetrios's car or somewhere around there. Okay, so they're straight line down the back straight. Freight training. We've got the car on the outside of Demetrios. Oh, he's come straight down into his right-hand rear by the looks of it. And this is all speculative. We're only commentators. But looks like the outside line has misjudged a little bit of keeping that second line and come straight down into the right-hand rear of Demetrius. And Greg Spencer was the unlucky assassin there, just caught up in that incident. So very unfortunate for those guys. Demetrius, as we heard earlier, he'd already used his fast repair, I believe. So that's not going to be good for him. But tell you what, Nigel Payton and Justin Witcher are doing a great job showing a clean set of heels at the front. They're keeping out of all the rubbish. But the flyer, Andy Barber, you got to keep an eye out for him. He doesn't have comms, so if we're at the end of the race, he's probably not going to be able to speak to us, but he's doing a great job up there in P3. I know he does have his partner there doing all his strategy in the background. His wife definitely does support his iRacing and does his strategy for him and helps him out. So she'll be there in the background cheering him on. He's doing a great job. But Tim Weston there in P4 up 19 spots as well. He's been there all night. So Daniel Beckinsale, Jason Holdsworth. We got 12 laps to go, guys. Let's do your pick. Who's your pick? We got 12 laps to go. I almost guarantee there's going to be another caution. But 12 laps to go. Who's your pick? I've got mine, but who are yours?
Well, to be honest, I can't go past the front three that we've got at the moment.
That's the biggest sitting on the fence that I've ever heard in my life, Steve.
Okay, well, I'll name them then. We'll go Nigel Payton, Justin Witcher, and Andy Barber. Barring there's no, incidents at the front that affect those guys, I do not see them making a big enough mistake or putting himself in a position to lose the spots that they're currently holding.
All right, so one more question. Who's going to win it then? Who's the winner?
Nigel Payton.
Nigel Payton. There we go. Right from the Steve Hoppy Hoppet. Nigel Payton's the winner. Jacko, who's going to win this one at round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series Next Gen Cup? Who's going to win this one?
Well, about 40 laps ago, I actually had my money on Nigel. I just didn't say it, but I was banking on Nigel for the win here, and at the moment it looks like it's might actually come true there, but it all depends on this restart as well, because the last restart didn't quite go the way I think Justin and Nigel had planned it, and that actually meant Justin had to slow down a little bit, I think, to let Nigel in. So if Andy gets a good restart here, then they may have to do the same thing again to get the Justin in line, and that may give Justin the win. So it's going to be a bit of a hard pick there, but I think I'll still stick with Nigel there for the win, and yeah, Justin second.
Well,
yeah, I'm glad you made a decision, because I was about to say, you reckon I was sitting on the fence.
yeah, well, I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm going straight out, and Jason Holdsworth, sitting in P6 at the moment, is going to win this. It's going to be green to the end, and there's going to be a wreck on the last corner, and Jason Holdsworth is going to come through and take the win and do a Stephen Bradbury. That's my pick. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are, round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series, brought to you right here live on a Friday night on the InterSim Esports Network. And great to have Steve Hobbit in the booth with myself and Paul Jackson. Bit of fun there. There we go. Hope we didn't put the commentator's curse on any of the guys, but Nigel Payton's going to bring the field to the green. Justin Witcher on the outside, the flyer, Andy Barber. And we didn't mention him. I probably should have said he'd win as well. But anyway, we're about to go green here at round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series at Daytona. And Nigel Payton takes it nice and early, allowing Justin Witcher to try and drop down, as he does right in front of Andy Barber. But guys, we're now starting lap 90 out of 100. I'm not going to get too excited too quickly. We're just going to let this settle down and see how it all pans out. But these guys are definitely going to make their moves in the next 4 or 5 laps.
I actually would like to see Michael Shaw moving up. He's actually sitting back a few spots, but he's in this lead pack. And I'd really like to see Michael Shaw get Shawry up the front there, at least up in the top 5, top 6. The last couple of laps, I could see it being 2 abreast, but it's going to be awful hard to actually get past these 3 at the front. They've got a good run going. But who knows? These guys behind them, they're pretty hungry. I mean, we've got Tim Weston, Daniel Beckinsale, and Norman Clark. Stormin Norman is still there. He's been there like a stalker all the way through this 91 laps. And he's just waiting for somebody to touch somebody, and he can be there when it counts.
Norman's a smart fox, mate. Part of Atari Autosports with Edward Foster, JCW, and even now Daniel Heddersheed and stuff through the NSCAR ranks. So Norman is what's the word for it? He knows what he's doing. So, but you said with Shawry there, he's currently 4 laps down, so he's probably not going to want to get involved in it at the moment. It looks like it is definitely going to be amongst these top 6 at the moment. Stephen Williams, actually, Stevie Dub in P7. We haven't spoken about Stevie Dub all night, and as we said, Paul, earlier in the broadcast, he's now up there in the P7. Tristan Koch there in P8, doing a great job as well. So we can't write off Stevie Dub. We haven't spoken about him all night. He wasn't even in our pick. He's come from nowhere, and now we are 8 laps to go in Daytona, and he's ready to make his move to the front.
And it's not the first time I've actually seen him come from nowhere either. I just find it hard to believe that it's going to be anything more than a really difficult task to get past these 3 that are sitting at the front. But don't write off Stephen Williams. I've seen him challenge for the lead going across the line in a pack of 4 or 5 cars at least once. So anything is possible here. And if the guys at the front, one of them just blinks, then you don't know what's going to happen.
And what it's going to be, Steve, it's going to be exactly what Nigel and Justin do at the front. So they're working together. So it's going to be whether Andy Barber, Tim Weston, Daniel Beckinsale, Norman Clark, Stephen Williams, those guys we've mentioned behind, it's going to be who wants to work with each other and blink to the top, because we know that Nigel Payton and Justin Witcher are going to work together to the end. So Andy needs to be really careful here. If he blinks and goes high, he's going to want to make sure, as you just see Justin Witcher there, cover him off on the inside. if Andy Barber wants to go high, he's going to want to make sure that Weston, Beckinsale, Clark, all those guys want to go with him. Otherwise, he's going to be left out to dry in a sitting duck. So as we see there's that second line going. So we currently have Weston and Beckinsale on the outside, tried to create that line, but see how quick it stopped. Oh, as Witcher just got in the back of his teammate, Nigel Payton. So there we go, Paul. There's your winner. Completely gone.
Oh, don't believe it. I do not believe it.
We were just about to get excited. Like, we could see the strategy happening there. That was really unfortunate. I'm sure Justin feels terrible about that.
Well, I mean, he's just proven the race admin wrong on what the finishing order was going to be. So I'm going to have to slap him with a heap of penalty points for that.
It looks like, Justin wasn't even hit up the bum by Andy. It looks like Andy got a bit of damage there too. So, not sure what happened there. It's very unfortunate for Justin and Nigel. They sat at the front the whole race. So
very unusual.
There's another caution. So there we go. We mix it up again with 6 to go.
And by the time we actually clear the pace car on this, we're only going to have, 2 to 3 laps to go. And this now puts Stephen Williams, I do not believe it, in the blink of an eye. We're talking about Stephen Williams, watching on the last couple of laps, and he's now sitting third after that incident between Justin Witcher and Nigel Payton.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. The old Stevie Darby, he knows how to drive a car, so he was always going to put himself up there. He's not in his Simrigs livery in the next gen tonight, but he's still running his 98. We do have Tristan Koch, who's there in P4. I did say that he'd be up there at the end as well. He's done a great job tonight too, Stephen Paul. He's been the silent assassin, just like Norman Clark was as well. Norman, not sure if he got caught up in that incident. Looks like he has, because he's in pit lane at the moment. I'm not sure. He wouldn't be pitting for tyres, so he's obviously been caught up in that at some point.
After Nigel seemed to clear the field a bit, I did actually see another blue car at the front there that was weaving all over the track. So whether that was Norman or not, I would actually have to have another look. But all I could see was a blue car. I couldn't tell which number it was.
Yeah, but Norman had that fast repair, so hopefully he doesn't go that lap down. He'll be good to go. Tyres aren't going to be an issue. So Justin, which is still at the front here. So both those two cars at the front, 96 laps into 100, have a little bit of damage on the front. So Justin have a little bit just from touching the back of Nigel. Andy would have a little bit because he got in the back of Justin as well. So they're going to have a little bit of damage. Tim Weston's in a really great spot. So is Steve Williams at the moment in third and fourth if they're willing to work together. Tristan Koch is in a great position as well. So don't be surprised if Koshy gets up there. We call him Koshy. He must work for Sunrise. We should call him Koshy. But he'll be up there in P5 at the moment. But my pick, Jason Holdsworth, still holding strong there in P6. Dave Oliver, P7, up 14 spots. So it's been such a long race, guys, and we're nearly at the end. And I didn't expect there to be so much stuff to talk about, but it is amazing. And I'm about to lose my stuff because we're about to go green, white checker shortly, or at least 3 to go. So Justin Witcher at the front, Andy Barber in second, the flyer, Tim Weston in third, Steve Williams fourth, Tristan Koch fifth, Jason Holdsworth fifth, Dave Oliver in seventh, and Neil McKenzie in eighth position at the moment. We currently only have 11 cars on the lead lap, and look who's on the lead lap. Derek Jacobs out of the United States of America, who we spoke to earlier, and he was a lap down.
Like, you could put 40 cars at Martinsville or Bristol, all you like. But if you want to see a race change so dramatically in a short period of time, yeah, you've got to go to a super speedway. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, everything's looking like it's set in stone and going really well with 4 laps to go, and all of a sudden that happens.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. That's exactly what happens. But look, for round 1 of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series, mate, we couldn't ask for anything better, and it's our pleasure to bring that to you here on the InterSim Esports Network. So we are so excited to bring that to you. I hope you're enjoying it, ladies and gentlemen, everyone watching at home from Australia, New Zealand, all around the world, everyone jumping on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that type of stuff. Hope you're enjoying this Australasian stock car action, but we are about to go green. We're 97 laps. We're about to go 98 laps of 100 at Daytona International Speedway from Daytona Beach, Florida. We have Justin Witcher bringing them to the green at the moment with Andy Barber on the outside, Stephen Williams, Stevie Dubb on the inside of the second row, with Tim Weston on the outside of the fourth row. So it is going on leader, guys. We are about to go green, and we have Justin Witcher bringing us to the green at the moment. The start is in his hands. Pace car's in. It is in his hands. Is he going to go early? He's gone early. Justin Witcher is gone. Here we go. Here is the fight for the end. Andy Barber's dropped down low really quickly. Here we go.
Andy, it looks like Stephen Williams is going to struggle on the outside there, but he's got a good row of cars behind him, mate.
Yeah, he is. It looks like he's going to get hung out to dry a little bit, but the momentum's going to pick up. Looks like that inside row's got a little bit of momentum at the moment. It's definitely, with only 2 laps to go, it's going to be really hard for Stephen Williams on the outside there. He's going to need a lot of push, but as we see, it looks like it's going to be a fight between these two at the front because we're too wide in third and fourth. Tristan Koch trying to make that move around the outside of Weston at the moment. Tristan needs to drop in. He's going to get hung out to dry here as well. So as we're about to go 3 wide as well, it looks like these front two have really got this as we're lap 98, 99. So we got 2 laps to go in the Daytona round 1 of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series. So Justin Witcher, Andy Barber, 1 and 2. Andy's going to be biding his time, but look at this behind them, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2 wide. 2 wide. Tristan needs to drop down and try get that run up in as he does, as I speak. And Net needs to get that run onto Andy Barber. Look at this run, guys. If you get left alone, you are gone. So Tristan Koch is getting that run. Looks like at the moment Justin Witcher is doing a great job at the front. Not sure. No, this ain't over, guys. We've got a lap to go. Have a look at this. Justin Witcher trying to bloke. There's going to be another wreck. I'm sure there is. Tristan's there. There it is. There it is. There it is. We're going green-white checker here at round 1 of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series.
And there is only one green-white checker set for this, so it's do or die stuff.
I saw that coming a mile away. There's no yellow.
There's no yellow. Checker. It is on for the finish.
Checker. We are going. Andy Barber leading at the moment. Tristan Koch in second. I'm sure there was should have been a yellow there. No green-white checker. That's really weird. But anyway.
We've got the white flag now, Aiden. We're on the last lap.
Tristan Koch going for the run with Andy Barber. Andy Barber, is he going to be able to get around? I don't think he will. Tristan Koch is not going to be around. Andy Barber is the winner of round 1 of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series. Tristan Koch with a great drive there up into P2. Justin Witcher into P3. I'm not sure why a yellow didn't come out there, guys. Why we didn't go green-white checker. I've got no idea.
I believe they'd already crossed the white line there, guys. They'd already crossed the white, so there was no green-white checker.
That makes sense.
Well, there was no caution, and that took half the field.
Oh, what a race. And up into P4 there, Derek Jacobs out of the United States of America, who was a lap down earlier. So there we go. Keeps on keeping on at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he got a P4. So a great job there for Derek.
Yeah, fantastic drive from Derek. Very, very well done.
And I'm sure that we are not going to be able to speak to Andy Barber, because I'm sure that he has issues with his microphone. So that's really unfortunate, but we'll bring him down anyway, just in case. We'll bring...
He was having issues with his microphone in Discord. It was sort of barely working in iRacing chat, but he told me that he was having issues in Discord.
Oh, well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Round 1 of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series here from Daytona. And Guys, what a spin-up that was. Andy Barber, your winner at the moment, having an amazing time cutting some donuts at the front there. That was not what we expected, but what a great race.
It was. Yeah, it really was. Great stuff for the first round of the series.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it. Don't know if my mic's working or not, but...
Yeah, your mic's working, Andy. We'll be with you shortly, mate. Guys, we brought the top three up into the booth at the moment, and third place, Justin Witcher. Justin, mate, you had that all night. You're playing that really safe. You had an unfortunate incident there with Nigel. Looks like you tagged the back of him and put him in the wall, which really ruined his night, which I'm sure you didn't mean, obviously, but mate, you still salvaged a P3. So yeah, how'd you feel that incident happened, and how'd the night play out?
Yeah, I don't know. God, I don't know what to say really. Pretty down on what happened with Nige. I had Greg after he pulled out spotting, and he called. There was a run up high. I sort of went up high, and I was sort of racing my rearview mirror. And yeah, we obviously had a bit of a push on Nige, and I just wasn't lined up with him, and hit the corner of him, spun him. So yeah, it was definitely on me, but yeah, I was just trying to protect him really.
Yeah, mate, it looked like that you guys were sort of working together, and you're trying to bring yourself to the end of it, you know, and get yourself in a position to win it. So it was a very unfortunate incident. So yeah, apologies, or I don't need to say apologies, but unfortunate incident for that. I know Nigel will be very disappointed, and I know that, put it this way, guys, you had an amazing run tonight, and you guys would have been able to put that car up in the 1-2. We thought you were going to go 1-2 all night. So amazing job, mate.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Well, mate, I know you're sounding really deflated and disappointed, but mate, anyone you want to have a thanks to tonight, and a big shout out to, well, you're on the InSim Esports Network, and a big shout out, and anyone you want to say thank you to.
Yeah, just the boys at Pinnacle Esports Racing, Matt, Nige, Greg, Raymond, who wasn't here tonight, and you two boys for putting on into sim.
No worries, mate, and it's really disappointing from a broadcaster to hear someone get P3 and be so deflated, mate. So don't beat yourself up too much, mate. It happens, and it's racing, and we move on to the next one. So great job tonight there with a P3, but we'll move on to P2. Tristan Koch. Tristo, mate, didn't speak about you a lot tonight. You did do our lap around Daytona. You were sitting sort of back there, you know, you've done a lot of laps around NASCAR and stuff like that, so you knew what was going to happen, and you put yourself in a position in P2. Here you are.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yes, that's what I did. I sat back and I watched and waited who was doing this and who was doing that, and where could I attack and approach, and just waited for things to happen, and they did. And then that's when I put the attack on. Got a fresh set of tyres or boots, a couple of laps out, I think 10 laps down, lap 90, and just went for it.
And mate, these are NextGen cars. How do you find they're around, like, as comparison to the current Cup cars around a super speedway? Like, how do you find that they were different? Like, were they different? I know they are different aero-wise, but did you need those set of tyres? Do you think if you didn't take them, I know you're under yellow, so it didn't really matter, but if you were in green flag situations, do you think, because normally around super speedways, you don't really take tyres, what do you feel the difference is between the next gen or the Gen 7 as opposed to the current Cup car?
Both cars got plenty of torque in those lower gear areas. Should be very interesting with this car on a, say, Watkins Glen, for example, down the track. Don't know if Open Series would change the gearbox or whatever the story is, but the fixed series is interesting. I'm still trying to get my head around it compared to the Cup car.
Yeah, it's very different indeed, mate. But Paul or Steve, anyone that wants to jump in here, Paul or Steve, anything you want to have a chat to Tristan about before we let him go?
Well, look, I just wanted to say that I was really happy to see him get the result tonight. Tristo, I mean, we've raced against each other for long enough now, I've seen you around the traps and in different series. It's so good to see you actually pick that one up there tonight. But basically, just as you said, you put yourself in the right spot. You kept an eye on what was going on around you, and you just happened to be Johnny on the spot when things came down to it. So fantastic stuff, and congratulations on the second place, mate.
Thank you. And look, I was going to push Andy, but I thought, nah, it's not worth it on the last lap. And what happened previously when I looked in the rear vision and sort of went, what the hell? Where's the rest of the field gone? Yeah, I'm happy with that. I can walk away.
Well, the strange part was that actually was started off by a car about 4 cars back from you. In fact, I believe there was something about Norman Clark's car, and it just got the wobbles up, and he just came left down the track into, I think it was Weston and Williams. So, yeah, unfortunate for those guys, because it was looking like it was going to be 6 cars in a bunch going across the line, but didn't work out that way. But no, look, you're fantastic, and once again, congratulations on second place, mate. And yeah, it was great to see. As the race admin, it was. It's always good to get some good racing happening when you're running and things. So, really enjoyed tonight. Fantastic stuff.
And thank you for you guys for doing the commentary, the support team, and all the guys that have raced tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah, and Tristan, before we let you get away, mate, we can't let you get away without thanking all the people around you, sponsors, anyone you want to thank. So, mate, great drive up there in P2. And from us personally here on the Industry Esports Network, thank you for making yourself available for that lap around for the viewers before you went into qualifying. So we do appreciate that. But, mate, you can't get away that easily. Who do you want to thank for your second place tonight?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Wagner Stainless Steel, MZO, Mark Walk Properties, Aussie Designs, Ballistic Beer, and Food Connect.
No worries, mate. Well, thank you so much, and great job there on a P2. But we're going to move to the man of the moment at the moment. Wow, that's interesting. But we're going to move to the man of the moment before we move on to our special guest, Andy Barber, P1, mate. We called you the Flyer all night because we know you are an airline pilot for Jetstar, but the Flyer, and you definitely did that tonight. I know you would have had your wife in behind you doing your strategy, all that type of stuff. Mate, great job on a P1. I'm sure you're happy with that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for that, guys. Yeah, it was just a very interesting race, and just try to keep the nose clean for the most part and stay out of trouble. And for the most part, I think I was running with Justin and Nigel that second half of the lap, the race there. So, yeah, we just try to get on a good strategy, try to get to the end. And yeah, I'm still learning these ovals, so I'm taking lots away from the drivers around me and learning constantly. So I didn't really want to step on too many toes tonight, but yeah, surprised myself, to be honest.
Stepping on too many toes, you just won it, mate. Like, I think you've got to stop learning, because if you learn any more, we're all got nothing. So, no, great drive tonight, mate, especially around Daytona. It's a very, very technical thing to do around a super speedway, especially just putting your car in the right position. It's not necessarily the hardest track to drive, but it is definitely the hardest mentally, and being able to put yourself in the right place. So great job there in P1. But Paul or Steve, anything you want to say to Andy before we let him go?
Well, after the way he managed to drive tonight, I want to know what his thoughts are on next week when we go to Talladega.
Oh, mate, I couldn't tell you. I'm just going to, take each track as it comes and learn each track as I go along and see where I end up.
Well, next week at Talladega, you pretty much got more of the same. But then when we go to round 3 after that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because we hit Michigan, and it, I believe, is a morning race. So tyre life's actually going to come into it. There's a little bit more strategy based. But look, great drive tonight, mate. Fantastic. And congratulations on first place.
Thanks, Steve.
And there's a big question here, Andy. Being a Flyer, are you joining the Mile High Club tonight?
Yeah, I'm married. Why not?
I've so many questions because I've got my pilot's license as well, but nothing like yours. But I so want to know where you're flying this week and everything. But that's a chat for later. But a great job tonight, mate, with a P1. So, mate, we look forward. You've had some great results lately, actually. So great job, mate, and it's great to see you being able to get the time to jump onto the sim racing community. And it's really good to see that you're enjoying it, mate. So really good job on a P1 there. But before we let you go, anyone you want to have a big shout out to, I'm sure your wife will have a big shout out in this one, but now's your time to shine, mate. Have a big shout out for one of your first wins on a league.
No worries. Yep. Well, yeah, definitely shout out to Team Barber in Kylie and Ryan. Kylie doing the strategy behind the scenes and yelling at me, and lots of arguments backwards and forwards. But it looks like we come up with the right combination most of the time. You guys, obviously, for commentating into sim full throttle racing leagues, and also a special shout out to our local card track, Extreme Karting at Pimpama. We're just going through a bit of a hard time with the track shutdown at the moment, so if you guys want to support us and support motorsport in the Gold Coast area, then jump on to support motorsport at Pimpama on Facebook. And that's pretty much where we're all hanging out and support the local motorsport in your community.
Yeah, thank you, mate. And I'll definitely be doing that. I've had a lot to do with the Racer Stars and stuff at the Pimpama racetrack, and I'm in Queensland myself. So I'll definitely be jumping on and helping them out with their unfortunate situation at the moment. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Barber, P1 for round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's NextGen Cup Series. But I do have one more person I had to bring up into the broadcast booth, just purely because of the way that this race panned out and the time it would be over there. Derek Jacobs, mate, have you got a copy?
I got a copy, Aiden Schultz. How are you?
Mate, I'm great. You're over there in the United States of America. We had to bring you up here. You had a bit of an issue. You were 8 seconds behind in that first pit stop where you overshot your pit mark. Then you've somehow in a fixed league, and you'll be the first to admit you hate fixed setup leagues.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is stupid o'clock in the morning there in the United States of America, and you moved your way up into P4, mate. You've got to be happy with that.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? It was a grind. It was a total grind. I promise you before I left off on that last time we spoke, I said it's going to be a good show. We're going to put on a show, and that I believe we did that here tonight in the 99 Chevrolet.
Mate, you most definitely did. The 99 Chevrolet did do a great job, but after the first pit stop, we didn't really speak a lot about you. So you were just there, just plotting your thing and just moving around, and you got up there in P4, mate. So American there in the P4 in the Australian League, and that's from what my recollection is one of your best Australian League results. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is. It's getting up there. Yeah. We're slowly improving on getting up there, but there's more to come, most definitely. It was a little bit not what I expected. How the race could have gone, should have gone, but you know what? At the end of the day, sometimes a little bit of luck and a little bit of grind, tends to pay off.
Well, at the end of the day, mate, you need to be there, and that's exactly what you did. So great job. But Paul or Steve, anything you want to ask Derek before we let him go and try and get some well-deserved sleep?
I just, once again, like to thank Derek for making the effort at a silly time of the day to be here. And I mean, it's paid off for you, Derek, and pulling the fourth place and just being in the right place at the right time. And it really paid off for you, and was pretty happy to see you still circulating there, back on the lead lap after we thought that you might struggle for a little while, but just plodded along and you did your job and you got the result. So that's fantastic stuff. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we got kind of lucky on that last incident there. With about 7-8 cars there on the last lap. I basically closed my eyes. Screen was full of smoke. I went all the way to the wall and I full gas, went straight on through it, and I did not even hit anybody. So that was the make or break decision right there. Where do I go? When you couldn't see, and it definitely paid off.
Yeah, well, Cole Trickle would be proud of that move. I could.
He most definitely would. That was absolutely a Cole Trickle moment.
Well, mate, before we let you go, thanks for making yourself available. It's early hours of the morning there in the United States of America, mate. But I know we've done this through the broadcast already, but P4, we've got to give you another chance. Big shout out to all your sponsors, everyone that's involved in your iRacing career and all that type of stuff. So the floor's yours, mate.
Yeah, I'd like to thank BSR Racing. I would also like to thank Water on the Rocks, one of the sponsors here in the United States. I'd like to also thank you guys for putting on this broadcast. It's very good quality, and enjoy the product that you guys put out, and look forward to listening to you guys each and every week, and even in your other sims that you guys do. Definitely enjoy that. And the promoter Steve and Michael Shore here at Full Throttle, we appreciate you letting me run in this league. And you know what? Hopefully there'll be some more good finishes to come here in the near future, especially with these super speedway tracks. You seem to be my forte, so I look forward to being in contention each and every week.
I'll be pretty interested to see how you handle the next couple of rounds, mate, because Talladega next Friday, and then Michigan for a morning race the week after that. So that sort of might mix things up a little bit, and be great to see how you run there.
Perfect. Yep. I'm looking forward to the one after that one, though. That's going to be my favorite. So, but you know what? I can promise you I'll give it everything I got, and hopefully I'll be back talking with you gentlemen again soon.
No worries, mate. Well, there we go. Derek Jacobs from the United States of America making himself available. But guys, how good was that? Round one of the Full Throttle Sim Racing League NextGen Cup Series. We have it run and done here at Daytona International Speedway. It was not what we thought. I thought it was going to go green a lot longer. It was not how I thought the end of the race was going to happen with positions, but it definitely gave the viewers a lot to look at.
Oh, look, absolutely. Like, apart from me personally and the way my race went, I mean, I was actually really stoked with the way I qualified. I think I was sitting sixth there for a while and ended up starting ninth on the grid. It's just unfortunate I've got these like fantastic, wow, wonderful Alice in Wonderland type pedals, and they are an incredible piece of equipment. And I'm still getting used to them, and I wasn't able to actually avoid the other cars on that first wreck on, was it lap 2 or whatever it was. So, but yeah, look, I copped a couple of black flags, and in the end, I decided I'd just concentrate on the race from an admin's viewpoint and keep an eye on things rather than just stretch it out. And that these things are pretty hard to operate for an old fella. There's a lot of resistance in them, and my groin and my ankle at the moment are thanking me for not making them go 100 laps. So, but look, it's great to get the first one under our belt, and another 7 rounds to go, and really looking forward to seeing how this series progresses.
Yeah, definitely. And Steve, we'll just have to quickly move on and go through. Let's just cover off the results from tonight and go through the positions if we can. So we had Andy Barber there getting the spoils there on P1, who is going to be leading the championship. Tristan Koch P2, Justin Witcher P3, Derek Jacobs, as we spoke to earlier, P4 out of the United States of America. Dave Oliver in P5, Daniel Beckinsale P6, Dean Goofall in 7, or Dean G as we call him, Nigel Payton P8. We've got Jason Holdsworth P9, Nigel McKenzie P10, Norman Clark P11. Very unfortunate for Norman tonight after a really strong showing early. Tim Weston in P12, Stephen Williams P13, Garth Duffy P14, Trav Mason 15, Michael Shorey Shaw in 16 after a strong qualifying. He would not be happy with that, but he's there in P16. Adam Malone, P17. He was not going to be happy with that either. Demetrius Agathos, who was up there in the top 5, also there on P18 at the end of that one. As we move into P19, Daniel Aguilera Bates, who led most of the field early on in the race, ended up in P19. He won't be happy with that. Greg Spencer in P20, Michael Budge P21, Darren McKenzie in P22, Chandler Hayden in P23, Brett Campbell 24, Steve Hoppett, as you just heard in the broadcast, 25th. Corby Cohen, I'm not sure, I can't really read that properly, 26, Daniel Smith 27, Jamie Nankervis 100 laps down in 29th. Looks like those 3 drivers did not take the grid, which is really unfortunate for those guys. But guys, before we wrap up this broadcast, what was the most exciting part about tonight for you? And let's give the viewers our most exciting part and we'll wrap it up.
Well, I was going to wait for Paul to put his opinion in first, but for me, yeah, look, I don't know whether exciting is the right word. That finish was certainly something to watch. I mean, there were so many cars bunched up there, and it looked like they were going to bunch up even further, getting to the line, and it just didn't happen. It just out of nowhere there was just a wreck, and a couple of guys who managed to get around it, like Derek, who put himself in the right position, and just through experience managed to avoid what was actually going on in front of him and next to him, and put himself at 4th place for the round. But look, the hard luck story for me of the night is Daniel Aguilera Bates. Started on pole and finished in 19th position. So he was actually not able to capitalise on the points for getting pole. So, yeah, very, very unfortunate for Daniel. He did actually, he was right there in it for most of the race, but finishing that far down through a couple of incidents that were certainly probably nothing of his doing. Yeah, promising start and then an unfortunate ending to his story for the night. But yeah, look, I'm sure he'll bounce back next week at Talladega and hopefully have a bit more luck than he did tonight.
Yeah, most definitely, Steve. He will. And that's super speedway, as we know. Even though Daytona's not quite the super speedway that Talladega is or whatever, but it is definitely still a super speedway in its own right. So it can definitely happen. So very unfortunate there for Daniel, but mate, it created good racing tonight, great racing, and it totally mixed up. If you would have asked me whether Andy Barber would have won this race 20 or 30 laps in, I would have said no, because he wasn't anywhere there. But it goes to show about the caliber of racing in this league, and it goes to show the caliber of racing with these drivers. So, mate, we might have to wrap this broadcast up and finish it up for a night. But Steve, I really do appreciate you jumping in here, and I wanted to keep you around because it was the first round, and after your wretched night and you disconnected, we wanted to keep you around and let you talk about your league. So we really do appreciate you keeping yourself available and jumping in here. So before I round this up, from me, Paul, and everyone on the InterSim Esports Network, we do appreciate you staying up here, mate, and hopefully we don't have you up here more often, because hopefully we have you in the car.
Look, yeah, no, look, to be perfectly honest, I can't even say I'm upset about it. I mean, I was pretty happy to get a decent start from a good grid position. But look, these things happen. It's just unfortunate. It was my decision to actually just pull out and concentrate on keeping an eye on the race. And as it turned out, sitting here with you guys as part of the fantastic job that you do with streaming these races. So, and I've actually been watching the races from you guys and the streams from when you started, and I've really got to comment that you guys are just getting so much better at it, and it's all seeming so much more professional and polished. And I applaud you for putting in the effort and the hard yards to get to this point.
No worries, mate. We appreciate that, and we appreciate being a part of it and being allowed to broadcast the Full Throttle Friday Night NASCAR NextGen series, mate. So we do appreciate that. But Paul, I think we need to wrap up the broadcast at the moment. We had Andy Barber in P1 tonight, mate. Great job there by the Flyer, but we're going to have to wrap this one up. So, Paul, anything you want to say before we wrap up the broadcast?
I think, yeah, good job to Andy Barber coming through for the win there, and Tristan Koch in P2 and Justin Witcher for P3. Again, we've got to apologise for some technical difficulties I had with the internet there. Not too sure what happened going through a stage, had a couple of disconnects, but got back in there and brought the ending of the race there to you as well. So we do apologise for that. But yeah, I think we'll be looking forward to another Super Speedway race next week, round 2 at Talladega, and we'll see if Andy can go back-to-back wins in the Super Speedways.
Yeah, most definitely, Paul. And you say that race 2 or round 2 is the 13th of August at the Talladega Super Speedway. So be sure to join us here on the IndySim Esports Network here on a Friday night, next Friday, from Talladega Super Speedway. But ladies and gentlemen, from everyone here, Paul, myself, Prue, everyone involved in the IndySim Esports Network, everyone involved in the Full Throttle Friday Night NextGen Cup Car Series, we thank you so much for joining us here at the Daytona International Speedway for round 1, and we look forward to seeing you here at round 2 on the 13th of August at Talladega. From myself, everyone involved in the IndySim Esports Network, we wish you a good night, and we will see you next week.